We're back. We're finally live. It's 3 minutes to midnight in the central time zone where I'm at. I want to thank you guys already for your super chats, and we will get to those. Congrats to Ben Rhodes, and condolences to Grant Enfinger, because I feel like he was robbed. We're going to do this a little bit different tonight, because we're going to speak, mind, heart, whatever you want to say. But we got to talk about this race. And we'll go through point by point. We'll go through the finishing order. We'll go through all of it. But this was an absolute embarrassment. There have been some pretty bad truck races we've come live after, and I've seen bright spots and wanted to talk about some positive things. This may be the worst truck race I have ever watched. 4 overtimes. It went for, how many extra laps did it go for? Almost 30 extra laps, 179 laps on the day. So probably almost as long as an Xfinity race. The Xfinity race, which will be later today for probably half of you watching. And then I can blame one thing in particular on it. I can go and rant about the playoffs. I can rant about the drivers. It's all together. Just the culture of the truck series is insane to me on how just twisted and backwards it is. I see on the screen again, congratulations to Ben Rhodes. Ben Rhodes and Grant Enfinger, to me, I respect them, because at least they didn't go to as low as everything was. Yes, they were involved in stuff, but for the most part, it was stuff out of their control. I'm cool with that. You know what? They didn't do anything wrong. But man, if I'm somebody like higher up at NASCAR, I don't know how you look at that and say, man, we are proud of what we just put out tonight. And I get it's a truck series. Maybe people are just going to not look at it as much as they would the Xfinity and especially Cup. And I hope to God that those two races are better. You know what? Screw it. Since we're doing this out of order, I'll put the finishing order up top for y'all, so that whoever of y'all want to go to bed, you can. But listen, I get that we can't go back in a lot of ways on different things NASCAR has done. The Winston Cup Series stuff, the Latford system, green, white checkers, racing to the distance. I get we can't do that, but there has to be some limits. There has to be parking. Why? Listen, I think what Carson Hocevar did was stupid as hell. I like Carson. You know what? I talk to him about every time I'm at the track. I like Carson Hocevar a lot, and I think he is a damn good driver. He is an even better person, but he can do some damn stupid things on track. And he did. And he deserves some revenge. But at the same time, wrecking somebody and then wrecking more people as a result of that, I think there should be retaliation. And I'm glad he didn't right hook him in the wall. But there might need to be something that NASCAR can do. I don't know if it's parking Heim after that and Hocevar. They wouldn't do it because it's a championship guy. They're not going to do that. I don't know what it has to be. But there needs to be some kind of reality check with a lot of these guys in the truck series. I've been able to spend a bit more time out at the Nashville Fairgrounds, and I used to spend time out at the Rockford Speedway. Local short track racing. And you know what I like about local short track racing? I like the fact that the drivers and pretty much everyone involved knows that if you damage your car, you have to pay to fix it. You have to spend the time to fix it. And I know that there can't be an overall blanket change, and you can't force drivers to do that. I don't know what the answer is, but it's clear there needs to be something to fix this. If it was up to me, we would not have instituted this kind of playoff culture, because yes, I do not think it is necessarily the playoffs in particular that did this. But it is the culture that NASCAR has set from the top down, with playoffs, with doing everything he can to win, which, you know what, fine, I like drivers going all out to win, but wrecking people, all this stupid crap. And it trickles down, and these younger drivers see it and do the same thing, and they just keep pushing the line. NASCAR needs to step in at some point, because this is ridiculous. And the thing I'm scared about is I hope it's not, but it feels like this is what the stuff NASCAR wants. I feel like this is the kind of stupid crap that they can sell in the promos, having all the wrecks and none of the racing in the promos. Just overall, maybe like Timmy Wolf is saying, maybe they should go back to 3 overtimes and just cut it out from there. It is okay for races to end under caution. Maybe go to 1 for the Truck Series, because it's pretty damn clear, and this is not just a finale thing, it's not just a playoff thing. This has happened multiple times. It has happened multiple times where these races just devolve into stupidity. And it's clear that some of these drivers cannot either race cleanly, they cannot race when the pressure's on, whatever it is, and the adults need to be put in. Yeah, it happens in cup races too. Like, you look back at COTA. It happens in Xfinity races. But I feel like there needs to be some kind of limits, whether it's the rules themselves, lap limits, green-white checker limits, something that can protect the drivers from themselves. Because what we saw tonight, I don't know how anyone can look at that and say, man, this was it. This was what I was waiting for when I tuned in, what is it now, 3 hours ago? I don't know how you could say that, man. I really, really don't. Because I'm watching these guys on stage, and they should celebrate. It's not Ben Rhodes' fault that they raced like idiots around and behind him. But man, Grant Enfinger got robbed at the end. I'll read a few of these super chats, and we'll kind of go into the race itself, even though I really don't want to talk more about this race. We do need to. But you guys have paid a lot, and I appreciate it a ton. So Irvin Alvarado with the first one for 5, it said, peak Truck Series like Steeler football, embrace the BS. This is the greatest race of NASCAR. Yep. Dumpster fire, the race, and broadcast. No, yeah, I mean, that's not even talking about the fact that it was clear as day the announcers were in a booth halfway across the country, and I hope there are just massive changes in general with the Truck Series, because I loved the Truck Series, and I do still love the Truck Series, and I want it to succeed, but it is painful to see just everything involved with it, what it's kind of turned into. And I am hoping so badly this new deal, NASCAR maybe can step in and at least the production value be a bit better. And maybe I don't know, because I don't feel like any rule changes I would want made, NASCAR would make. I don't feel like it. Because to me, I'm cool with revenge, but if you take other people out, you're parked. Like, it ruins the race, and that we'll talk about the ending. Ruin the race. And if I'm not mistaken, I have the lineup on right now. I can look right now. Congratulations as well to Christian Eckes, who, again, based on at least what I remember, because trying to forget, didn't race like an idiot. And has raced really well these last couple weeks. I was at Kansas when he won. He has raced really, really well. There were a lot of drivers tonight that raced well and didn't race stupid. And I as much as I can, I want to highlight them because they deserve it. They deserve to be highlighted for racing like you should, with respect, with some kind of, I don't know if conscience is the right word, or just moral line. But this is just the worst of the worst. The Truck Series can be so much better than this. We've seen better than this year. Yeah, everyone complained about, I believe it was Richmond, when it devolved into a strategy race, according to some. But at least it was a race that, yeah, there weren't many issues, but at least it was a race where there was respect, and it was an actual race and not just a demo derby. I mean, my God. This is, I'm looking at people, like, where people finished tonight. And we'll get to that in a moment. I appreciate everyone coming in here past midnight in Central Time and past 1 a.m. on the East Coast. I believe, for all those West Coast viewers that they probably changed the time for, I don't know about you, but if you're waiting until 10 o'clock for the end of this race, I have to admit you're probably pretty pissed with it, right? I'm just looking at the finishing order here, and Stuart Friesen, like 4 or 5 laps down all night, 24th place finish. Corey Heim, they didn't even mention on the broadcast that Heim was the lucky dog until like the last possible second, because they're not at the track. Haley Deegan 15th, even with all of that. And this is, again, it's not just strictly trucks. It's just it was shown in the worst possible way tonight. I remember the Daytona 500. Like, say what you want. Daytona 500 this year wasn't exactly much better at the end. I see Tyler had left a $2 super chat saying to do a watch along. I don't think you would want to watch along. I think we would have this. I don't know if I've cussed so far because I'm just this upset with how this race went. But I'm glad I didn't go live during it, because I would have let a few cuss words out, and I really wouldn't want the stream taken down. And maybe, at this point, again, I don't want to talk too much like an idiot, because the last thing I want to do is, make an ass out of myself on the internet, at least more than I already do. Fred Dog 81, thank you for the 5. No comment, Jared. Just wanted to donate money so you can get some Tylenol for your headache after watching this dumpster fire of a race. The headache is real. I might not even have Tylenol. I got Benadryl. I'll just knock my ass out after this. I might even make a video about this, like how Tree does. I can probably DM him tonight and see if I can get the okay from him. So yeah, maybe tomorrow morning you'll wake up to me making a video about this, and I won't. I don't know. I won't let the heat of the moment dictate how I'm gonna act from this point on. But man, we're gonna talk about it Wednesday night on Eric's channel. I'll tell you that. Alex, thank you for the 2. This race This is a race we'll never forget ever. Here's the thing, with the way that this series kind of acts and the way that these drivers have been in a lot of ways, I wouldn't be surprised if we see more of these. I don't think it'd be this bad. I'm hoping it won't be this bad, but I would not be surprised if we see more of this kind of crap next year. I wouldn't. I swear I'm not gonna rant all the time, and I am holding back. Trust me, I am holding back because it was bad, but there's been a lot of good, and we'll talk about the good this year in the truck series. I promise. Garrett Boogie, thank you for the 10. Hocevar accidentally spins Heim, then Heim decides to nuke the championship race by throwing his own team's race away. That kamikaze move was the turning point of this dumpster fire of a championship. Yeah, I see the replay in the World Series. We can watch somebody win in a good way tonight, I guess. Turn this off. God, I'm mad because the thing I'm mad most about is just that I love this sport. Like, I love NASCAR. I love the truck series. And a couple years ago, I think the truck series is the best series in NASCAR. And I will defend that, like, up until about 2019 or so. And what I'm mad about is just, I hate seeing a series and a sport that I love devolve into complete anarchy and chaos like this in the worst ways. Like, some chaos races are good. They really are. Like, they have a place in NASCAR. They have a place in auto racing. From the beginning, these kind of races have happened, maybe on a smaller scale, but they have. There is a place for crazy-ass races. But it becomes so common, and it's on the biggest stage, and you have this one race deciding, one race decides the championship, so a bunch of people acting like idiots can dictate their championship, and I'm not angry, I'm disappointed. I guess that's the way I could put it. It's sad to me. It really is. And I don't want to keep doing this, man, but it just keeps going. I just don't like it. If it had stopped after like the first green white checker, okay. You know, and I think the red flag really made this worse. But 4 green-white checkers. In all honesty, the Ankrum crash should have probably been a caution too, because he was putting debris all over the track. But NASCAR mercifully put this race and us out of their misery. And we got the end of it. Irvin Alvarado saying, I want a greatest race video. Peak trucks tonight. Real talk, though. This is up there with Knoxville. It's worse. This is worse. I think it's worse because of all that was at stake tonight. But I appreciate the $5 super chat. And we'll go through some of this. This is going to be the longest truck stream I've ever done. GN, thank you for the 5. This is a product of NASCAR execs chasing entertainment and being like all other major sports since 2004. How can they be proud of that? Listen, I think even the most hardcore playoff defenders, you have to at least say that was bad. And it wasn't all because of the playoffs. I want that narrative to die right now, because this was not all because of the playoffs. At least not this year's playoffs and this race in particular. This has been a culture problem for a while, caused by the playoffs. I'll say that. But even if you are, a fan of that, and you're a fan of the chaos side of it, like, you gotta admit this was bad. Like, I don't know how else you can. By the way, please like the stream if you can. I'd appreciate it. I think I'm cooling off a bit now. Timmy Wolf again in there, nice one, saying the final wreck was a screw it, I want to go home call. I agree. I don't blame NASCAR. I'm actually kind of happy with it. Palm Tree, thank you for the 5. Props to all the brave soldiers who powered through that embarrassing shit show. NASCAR needs to take this series to Bowman Gray and leave them there. I mean, a Bowman Gray race would honestly and I think that the next 2 races I think are going to be better. Hope. But I do think the Xfinity is going to be better. I think the Cup race, the Cup guys, they're professionals. They will be better. But man, what a terrible, terrible way to start this weekend. Game 7 moments. This is like game 11 moments. You know? Tragic Kel, thank you for the $20 epic fail super sticker. And Henry, thank you for your first super chat here for 5. This is our future of drivers, and that's a scary sight to think of. It is. Now, granted, the Truck Series is a place where drivers are going to have to learn to get this out of their system. Carson Hocevar is a great driver. I think I'd say a great talent. Stupid things he does need to be fixed. I saw that Tricon put a meme out about him, and then let me read y'all what Tyler Reddick said. And really quick, let me read actually what Jeff Gluck put out. Grant Enfinger is bummed to realize the Truck Series drivers got a bad rap tonight, saying, "We're better than that. I don't know how many green-white checkers that was, but it was entirely too many." Yeah, Grant Enfinger, he should get the clear on this. He raced Ben Rhodes fairly, cleanly. He raced everyone cleanly tonight that I saw. Ben Rhodes, I think, did the same thing. Aggression, sure, but not over the line. They get a pass. And there's a lot of drivers I think get a pass tonight. Guys you didn't hear about, drivers you didn't hear about, they get a pass. It was not all of the truck guys. It was just a couple people doing dumb things in desperate moments. But Tyler Reddick, let's see. He put my God, there's a lot of different tweets. He put, "This dumbass will never learn." And unlike most team owners, Denny Hamlin didn't make him delete it. Denny Hamlin retweeted it. Man. And I'll say this. I don't know if you're in the chat, but the NASCAR Shill account is the funniest damn account. Sly Supersonic, thank you for the 119. And Camerican GM, thank you for the 5. A race can still have exciting moments even when the race ends under caution. 1998 Daytona 500. Agreed. We can end these races at the scheduled distance, please. Oh, my God. Isaac, thank you for the 2. This is why I can't take trucks seriously. I mean, again, I still will. I think these are great drivers that just do dumb things. but I don't blame people who don't. And I hate saying that because like I said, I love the truck series, man. Technically, the first NASCAR race I ever saw in person was Michigan Trucks in 2006. I've loved the truck series for a long time, but man, this was a dark day for this series. And Martin fan for life, thank you for the 5. What a bummer. The bigger dumpster fire, the booth of the race, according to MW, it was worth the wait. No, it was not worth the wait. Racing was worse. The racing was worse tonight. The racing for the most part tonight, I would say the racing for the first 2 stages, all right. It's typical Phoenix. That final stage, especially as we got closer to the end, atrocious. It's bad. Alexander, thank you for the 5. The fact that we'll probably suffer from another cringeworthy drunk compressor from Ben Rhodes to end this shit show. Sorry, I'm #team professionalism. Team professionalism didn't show up today. Yeah, we'll probably get that. I mean, I'm not bad about. I'm not mad about that. I've seen plenty of dumb drunk people, and I don't think he's really all that dumb. I just think he'll be drunk. It's funny. It probably won't be funny in part 2. I don't think he's probably going to do that much this time. At least I hope not. Although I would say, if he drinks Bud Light again, we're probably going to have a bunch of other idiots jumping in on this for no reason. Daniel, thank you for the 2. Truck series, Legacy of Failure video win. I am not attacking the whole series. I'll talk about this race. Definitely talk about it. Red Dog 81, also thank you for that 5. Enfinger is a class act. If I was him, I would be swinging at Heim because his stupid action caused the chain reaction that cost him the championship. Let's just get into this race here. Let's get more into it. Let's talk about it. I apologize if I'm keeping you all up. If you all need to go to bed, I completely get it. This race was unfortunately 179 laps, 2 hours, 30 minutes, 42 seconds officially, plus probably a 20-minute red flag. 10 lead changes among 6 leaders with 12 cautions. Christian Eckes, congratulations. You won. Yeah. Nice. Honestly, though, I'm happy for him. I think he's a driver, and I'm happy that he'd be the driver that get to win tonight, not somebody racing like a dumbass. Jake Garcia got a 2nd place finish. Good finish for him tonight. 3rd was Chase Purdy. Jesse Love with the 4th place run, though he was involved in a lot of the stuff too. Our champion Ben Rhodes 5th, and 6th is Grant Enfinger. 7th, Dean Thompson. Caden Honeycutt in 8th. 9th, Tanner Gray, and Nick Sanchez with the top 10 to end the 2023 season. Matt Crafton with 11th. 12th is Raja Caruth. Wallace Allen in 13th. 14th, Majeski. Haley Deegan with a 15th place finish tonight. You know what? She might have spun to avoid one of the wrecks, but props to her. She didn't get involved in other people's stupidity. A good way to end a miserable season, I would say. And I hope she does better in the Xfinity Series next. Rose comes home 16th, and 17th is Davis. Corey Hyman 18th. 19th is Lights. Tyler Hill rounds out the top 20. Colby Howard 21st, and Tyler Ankrum, final guy on the lead lap. After that, Taylor Gray finishes 2 laps down. Stuart Friesen 4 down. Zane Smith 7 off the pace. Hingarani finishes out of this race. Pretty much everyone at this point is out of the race from 26th on down. 27th, Jack Wood. Kraus in 28th. Hocevar 29th. Stephen Parsons 30th. Then Bailey Curry 31st. Daniel Dye 32nd. Jake Drew 33rd. Connor Jones with a 34th place finish. Marco Andretti 35th. Chris Hacker finishes last tonight. Normally we go point by point, but I believe I've dinked and dunked around what we'll talk about. In all honesty, the first 2 stages really didn't matter. There was good racing. Friesen had won around. That was a big thing that kind of happened. But the stages really didn't matter because they don't count with the championship, guys. Majeski got the first stage won. And Ben Rhodes got put in the back a little bit with the terrible pit stop. I guess that's something you could talk about. But again, stuff got shuffled around so much at the end. I really don't think that the first 2 stages are really worth talking about all that much compared to the end of it. So we're just going to talk about the final stage tonight. So a lot of it at first was really a strategy race. You know, there was a crash with Connor Jones and Jake Drew where they literally got stuck together. I thought that was funny. Deegan spun to avoid it. People are clowning her. I'm not gonna. I mean, she was not involved in people doing stupid things. There you go. There's NASCAR shill in the chat. You're having a great night, I bet. Greatest freaking parody account out there. That one in Analog Gas House. That's a pretty good parody account. You have my approval. Let's just go to, where's it at? Let's go to 34 to go, shall we? 34 to go in regulation. With 34 to go, Heim had caught up to Carson Hocevar, dove underneath him after 2 laps of running him cleanly, and Hocevar would get in way too fast. Now, I personally do think it was an accident on Hocevar's part. It was a stupid accident, but it was an accident. But he taps him and pretty much takes him out. Friesen also getting taken out as well with it, getting the worst of it. And Tricon with a great tweet with the Kevin James meme. I think it said something like, "You're not going to take us out for the championship, are you?" And it's Kevin James with a 42 hat. That was funny. And of course, Reddick's tweet as well. There was a lot of Cup drivers actually that put a lot of tweets out tonight. I could probably make an entire stream reading those. But anyway, that brings out the caution, and we have a restart with 25 to go. Carson Hocevar is restarting on the front row with the championship lead at this point. There's a lot of contact. Zane Smith gets the lead. Hocevar at this point, I think he was mentally out of the game from that point forward. I think he really didn't mean to do it and was just mentally out of the game, which is something you got to fix if you're going to be going up to Cup. Of course, he also has to fix taking out a Cup driver like he did with Ty Gibbs last week, though no one probably would talk about that because they don't like Ty Gibbs. But that's a whole other rant. We actually talked about that Wednesday. Anyway, so you have that all going on. Rhodes gets the title lead over Enfinger, and then there's another crash. Big crash with Parsons, Curry, and Daniel Dye. This brings out our red flag, which just lets it simmer and just wait and wait for what's coming. We have that 19 to go. You have guys like Sanchez, Majeski, Hocevar, they all pit. We restart with 15 to go. You know, maybe this will be the restart. Maybe this will be our final restart of the year. Let me grab my phone that I threw down here earlier. Hey, this was an unorthodox race. It's going to be an unorthodox stream. But 15 to go, we have the restart. It is Zane Smith versus Christian Eckes. While the championship battle is Rhodes v. Enfinger. Zane will take the lead while Enfinger takes the championship lead. Rhodes is trying to chase him down, though. They're racing pretty cleanly for the most part. And at this point, also, because of the damage he sustained with the deal with Hocevar, Corey Heim is struggling to keep up. And at that point, he starts falling back. Right as Carson Hocevar is making his way up the field. Grant Enfinger at this point, though, he is making his way to a championship. We have 3 laps to go. He is 3 laps away from a championship. A championship, in my opinion, he damn well earned. But Heim destroys Carson Hocevar. Revenge, warranted. Takes out another car in the process. But still, I think warranted revenge. And at this point, that's where we get to our endless overtimes. Now, I'm going to ask y'all this. Because I do think Heim admitted it wasn't intentional. Bullshit. Bull. I'll ask you this. Let's have a poll, shall we? You know what? Let's have a fun poll off of that. We'll ask this. Should Heim have been parked? Let's ask that. Yes or no? Should Heim have been parked? Because I think both, honestly, should have been out of this race after how they acted. Heim and Hocevar. My God. I see Frank here in the chat. I mean, my God. I've seen NR races race better than that, like at 3 a.m. on a Tuesday. No disrespect at all, but it's just Jesus. Yeah, I saw I saw that Hocevar said he didn't want to, but he didn't. He didn't mean to. I do not think Hocevar meant to. I just think he made a stupid decision, personally. But let's get to the overtime, shall we? We haven't talked about him enough. So the first overtime, we have Eckes and Zane on the front row, the 2 championship guys left on the second row. And there's a bunch of 3 wide. Rhodes goes up the middle. Enfinger kind of gets screwed out of the whole deal and shuffled back. And this is where I believe Derek Kraus got crashed. But Enfinger would have to pit because of the damage he sustained. So at this point, it's Ben Rhodes to lose. But with the stupidity we were in tune for, or in line for, that was not a guarantee. Second one comes around. At this point, Rhodes is the only championship driver in the top 22. He's second. And he smashes into the back of Zane Smith because Zane missed a shift. I don't think it's a stupid move really on Zane. I think it's a normal thing a driver does. It's a bad thing that happens. But I don't think it was like as dumb as a lot of the other stuff we saw. But of course, this causes a crash up in there, and we have another overtime set up. At this point, Ben Rhodes now has a bunch of damage. We don't know for sure if he's going to win the championship or not, but we're going to have another overtime. 19 in the 4 up front, Eckes and Purdy. Rhodes having a tire rub. They're gonna wing it. They're gonna keep it on out there. And there's a bunch of contact all over again, and another damn wreck. Majeski off of the front bumper of Love, I believe. Anyway, overtime number 4, second page of it. We finally get the final overtime. Rhodes lines up in 4th, Enfinger 13th. Eckes leads, and he gets all the way around for the white flag for the most part, while Ankrum is up in the wall doing his unwilling Hail Melon. But they stay green at the white. Enfinger is charging. He's underneath Rhodes, but he just doesn't have enough, doesn't have the line. Tries one last bonsai move to maybe bump into the back of the 99. Doesn't make it happen. Rhodes wins the championship, and we are thankfully out of this race. I'm guaranteeing there's a lot of people enjoying this in the Discord right now with some of the people I'm seeing in chat. But that's your Truck Series season. Trucks are finally done. And looking at the poll right now, Studheim have been parked. We're going to end that after closing in, well, about 260 votes. 77 saying yes to 23% saying no. I agree. I think I said so earlier, but that's it. I mean, the Truck Series season overall, it was not the worst I've seen. I'll say that. It had a lot of fun moments. The racing itself, I loved going back to Milwaukee. I cannot wait for that next year again, because I believe that those Wisconsin fans deserve that kind of race. But man, nights like tonight, just it's the reason why people are in a lot of ways soured about the Truck Series, and I hope they address it. I hope they don't. I hope NASCAR doesn't just like bury their heads in the sand, not say anything, and just walk away, because this is just sad. Jimmy, thank you for the $5 super chat, saying I was surprised that there was no fight with Carson. Well, I mean, the amount of green-white checkers they had, or overtime called now, he probably had enough time to leave the damn state by the time Heim got out of the truck. Wouldn't blame him at that point. I wouldn't blame Heim for going after him. Of course, 2 wrongs do not make a right, but I do think maybe long term, I'm hoping there's veterans that go down full time in trucks that can keep a little bit of order. But you know, the way we're going right now, I could probably stay live and just do an Xfinity post or a pre-race at this point. But we're not going to go nuts with it. I think I've held y'all up for the day enough. Tomorrow, if you're in Mountain or the West Coast time zones, Pacific time zone, we have Xfinity post race for the finale. If you're in Central or Eastern time zone, later today. So I'll see y'all then for that. And then Sunday we got the Cup finale. post race as well. We'll be live right after that. And then on Wednesday night, NASCAR Weekly Podcast on Eric Estep's channel. We will talk about this. We will talk a lot about this. But y'all, I've held y'all up enough. Let's see. I'll read that one last super chat, and then we'll head on out. Unless anyone has anything else of wisdom to bring up with me. SD Eon for the 5 saying this race was a joke. That was a stupid move by Heim, which cost Enfinger the championship. I'm glad Enfinger raced roads clean. I am glad too. And Enfinger got robbed tonight, man. He got robbed. But thank you guys for watching. We'll be back all weekend. Subscribe if you're new. I appreciate everybody coming on in, and wish it was a better race we could have talked about. But I will see y'all later today for a lot of you, or tomorrow, depending on where you're at. But thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good one. Get some sleep, and hopefully tomorrow's better. Later.